I don't know. I hear Tuesday or Wednesday. I look forward to that.
Have you named your board of peace for Gaza yet? Where do those plans
Well, we have a board of peace that's being formed, but essentially it's the most important leaders of the most important nations. All nations, but the most important, you take the most important leaders and nations, that's who the board of peace is going to be. Everybody wants to be on it.
One group taking your threat seriously is one area taking
Who you with?
the New York Post.
Well, I like the New York Post. New York Post treats me semi-fairly. So go ahead.
One group taking your threat very seriously is Greenland. Are you still thinking military action there, or
On where? Military action.
Greenland?
Greenland? Is there anything they can offer you
Look,
for a deal?
If we don't take Greenland, Russia or China will. And I'm not letting that happen.
Is there
If
any-
we don't take Greenland, Russia or China will take Greenland. And I am not going to let that happen.
Is there any deal they can offer you? Either like
Yeah, sure. I'd love to make a deal with them. It's easier. But one way or the other, we're going to have Greenland.
Are you okay if that compromises NATO? If NATO effectively ceases to...
Well, I think I've done a great job. I'm the one that saved NATO. I'm the one that got them to pay 5.5% of GDP. Wait a minute. It was 2%, and they didn't pay. Now they're paying 5%. I'm the one that saved NATO. You wouldn't have NATO if I weren't president.
Would you pull the U.S. out of NATO? Would you consider doing that?
Well, maybe NATO would be upset if I did it. Maybe NATO would save a lot of money. I like NATO. You know, I just wonder whether or not if we needed NATO, would they be there for us? I'm not sure they would. You know, we spend a lot of money on NATO, and I'm not sure they would.
But what would you say?
Now,
that-
what's happened is, as you know, Sleepy Joe Biden gave $350 billion to Ukraine and got nothing for it. I got rare earth back. I got, I think, value back far greater than that. And that's what he should have done. Now, if you look at what's going on with respect to NATO, we have a very good relationship. 5% GDP, and they pay us. We send them military equipment, and they pay us back the full cost of the equipment. The war is, we make money with the war, but I don't even want to talk about that. I want to save the lives, the Russian and Ukrainian lives. I want to save the lives. That's the only reason I'm doing it. This is Biden's war. Should have never happened. Would have never happened if I were president. This is Biden's war. It's not Trump's war. All I can do is stop it. And I think we're making progress toward stopping it, which would be number 9.25. You know what the quarter is, right? Right? Thailand and Cambodia went at it again, but I got to stop very quick. I consider that 1/4 of the war.
When was the last time you made a tangible offer to Greenland yet?
No, I'm not. I haven't done that, but Greenland should make the deal because Greenland does not want to see Russia or China take over. They don't go there. It's very far away from Greenland. And Greenland, basically, their defense is 2 dog sleds. Do you know that? You know what their defense is? 2 dog sleds. In the meantime, you have Russian destroyers and submarines and China destroyers and submarines all over the place. We're not going to let that happen.
In the meantime, are you going
And
to...
if it affects NATO, then it affects NATO. But, you know, they need us much more than we need them. I will tell you that right now.
Are you going to increase the amount of military...
That's a war that should have never happened with Ukraine.
The UK and Germany are discussing plans for a joint NATO mission to protect Arctic security in Greenland. Does that change your calculus at all? In terms
No,
of
look,
acquiring?
we're talking about acquiring, not leasing, not having it short term. We're talking about acquiring.
Does that require
And
U.S.
and
troops on the
if we
ground?
don't do it, Russia or China will, and that's not going to happen when I'm president.
Are you going to increase the amount of military bases on Greenland in the meantime?
Well, we have bases on Greenland. Yeah,
Are you going to make more?
I can put a lot of soldiers there right now if I want, but you need more than that. You need ownership. You really have. You really need title, as they say in the real estate business.
From Minneapolis, your administration has advocated for absolute immunity for the ICE officer who shot Renee Gunn. How do you define absolute immunity? What does that mean?
Well, everyone's seen it. And a woman who's very violent. She's a very radical person. Very sad what happened. Her friend was very radical. Go or
But
drive.
for the officer, absolute immunity, how would you define that?
Well, I'm going to let the people define it. But immunity, you know what immunity means as well as I do.
So that officer
But
should be back on the
people
force?
can't be treating law enforcement that way, whether it's ICE or Border Patrol or our police. And men and women. You can't do that. We have, the law enforcement in our country is doing really well, despite the fact that Sleepy Joe Biden allowed people to pour through an open border. Crime stats just came out. We have the best crime stats on record, despite all the criminals he allowed into our country. We've gotten a lot of them out. We have to respect our law enforcement. At a very minimum, that woman was very, very disrespectful to law enforcement. And you heard the same noises. You saw the same crunch that I saw. You can't do that with law enforcement, whether it's police or ICE or Border Patrol or anybody else.
When it comes to ICE officials,
Yeah.
so, Mr. President, well, just to clarify on the absolute immunity, do you believe ICE officers should have absolute immunity?
Well, no, if somebody is obviously crazy and does something wrong, no. But generally speaking, I mean, these people have been harassed and threatened every day. They had bands out playing so they couldn't sleep at the hotel. I see what they're doing to them. They're threatening them constantly. And all they're doing is doing what I got elected on. We had millions of people that came into our country that are horrible people that shouldn't be in our country. They're murderers, they're drug dealers, they're people from mental institutions, they're the criminally insane, they're people from prisons. They were allowed to come into our country because Biden was a stupid person, and the people surrounding him, very smart, very vicious, but they have no common sense, and they're radicalized people. They're radical left people, not radical right. They're radical left people. And all they're doing is what I campaigned on. I won in a landslide. We won all 7 swing states. We won the popular vote. We won the districts. We won everything. We won the counties. We won the counties by 79%, I believe. I campaigned on a great border, and now we have a great border. But Biden let 25 million people come into this country, and many of those people are criminals, including 11,888 murderers. And we want them out. And I won on that. Now people don't talk about it because the border is so secure. Nobody wants to talk about it anymore. The border was one of the reasons I won the election. I've done such a good job on it that nobody wants to talk about it anymore. The border is totally secure. And now the crime stats just came out, and they're the best numbers since they were taken, and that's like 50 years ago. We have the best crime numbers, despite the fact that a lot of criminals were allowed into our country.
Do you think
We have to respect our law enforcement.
do you believe that deadly force was necessary after watching all the footage and a few days have passed? What's your assessment there?
It was highly disrespectful of law enforcement. The woman and her friend were highly disrespectful of law enforcement. You saw that. They were harassing them, were following for days and for hours. And I think, frankly, they're professional agitators.
But just disrespect.
And I'd like to find out, and we are going to find out who's paying for it,
But just disrespect.
with their brand new signs and all the different things. But these are professional agitators, and law enforcement should not be in a position where they have to put up with this stuff. What that woman and what her friend and what their other friends were doing to law enforcement, not just ICE, law enforcement, is outrageous.
Do ICE officials in
Can you tell us about your trip to Detroit on Tuesday?
I'm going to be making a trip to Detroit to talk about our unbelievable amount of factories that are opening up all over the country, many of which are car factories and car plants. We have manufacturing plants opening up at levels that nobody's ever seen before because of tariffs. If we didn't have tariffs, you wouldn't have them opening, although they were very happy with the November 5th election. But we have from Canada, they're coming, from Mexico, they're coming, from Germany, from Japan, from all over Europe, and from Japan, other places, and from China. They're opening up car factories, car manufacturing plants at levels that we've never seen before. So I'm going to Detroit because they're going to be opening up plants in Detroit or redoing plants, but they're really ripping down old plants and building new. We're the hottest country right now anywhere in the world. I mean, think of it. A year and a half ago, we were a dead country, and now we're the hottest country anywhere in the world.
Mr. President, the House passed a 3-year extension of the ACA. It's in the Senate. If it passed the Senate, would you veto it or allow it to?
I might, yeah, I might.
Sir, do you have any information about the suspicious object that was found at Palm Beach International Airport
No.
before takeoff?
I know nothing about it.
Okay, and back on Iran, the Ayatollah said that he thinks that the protesters are trying to, quote, please you. Do you see it that way? What's your message to the Iranian people?
I don't know that they're trying to please me. They named a boulevard after me, but that's pretty pleasing. But I don't think they're trying to please. I think they just want peace. They want to have freedom. The protesters are after freedom. Iran has not allowed freedom for a long time. And the protesters, I don't think they're trying to appease me. They're trying to get somebody to help them. They're under siege. And now it looks like they're being shot, which is a very bad thing.
Is the administration in contact with Iranian opposition leaders as this is unfolding?
Yeah,
What's the message to them?
yeah. You're going to find out pretty soon.
You said that help is not good.
Yeah, go ahead. With the beautiful red hair.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We're coming up with the premiere of Melania. Have you seen the movie yet? What are your thoughts on
I've
it?
seen pieces of it. It's incredible. I tell you. I think it's going to do. You know, she did a book, and the book was a big #1 bestseller. And this is a movie, and it seems to be captivating a lot of people's attention. It's very good. Because here we go again. Yeah, it's going to be doing the premiere at the Trump Kennedy Center. Yeah, be very exciting. It's a very hard ticket, I can tell you. Everybody, Wayne Gretzky and his wife Janet, beautiful wife, great wife. They said last night, "Gee, I want to go to." Everybody wants tickets to the premiere. I think it's going to be great.
Is there any timing on the mortgage bond purchases you announced last week?
On the what? Mortgage?
Mortgage bond purchases by Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac?
No, they're already doing it. They've started. Yeah, they started the process. And it's having a great impact. Interest rates are falling very rapidly. Not only for that reason, for other reasons too. But interest rates are falling very rapidly. With no help from the Fed. Because we have a total stiff at the Fed.
Yeah, but also, can I ask you, the announcement on the credit cap on credit card interest rates
Yeah.
put out on Friday. What happens if the credit card companies don't comply by the January date?
Well, then they're in violation of the law. Very severe things. No, I want a cap on credit card interest rates because some of them are 28, almost 30%, and that the people don't know they're paying 30%. The people out there, they're working and they have no idea that they're paying 30%. No way. We're putting a 1-year cap at 10%, and that's it. They know it. They've really abused the public. The credit card companies have totally abused it. I'm not going to let it happen.
Is that something willingness for Iran to engage diplomatically with you, or perhaps negotiate on nuclear program?
With Iran?
Yeah, do you think they want to engage diplomatically with you?
They do. They called
They call you?
yesterday.
Is it still an option?
Iran called to negotiate.
Yesterday.
The leaders of Iran called. They want to negotiate. I think they're tired of being beat up by the United States.
Can you share any details on that call?
Iran wants to negotiate, yes.
Negotiate what?
We may meet with them. I mean, a meeting is being set up, but we may have to act because of what's happening before the meeting. But a meeting is being set up. Iran called. They want to negotiate. Thank you very much, everybody.
What are you going to do?
Be careful. A lot of bumps.
What's your plan for East Potomac? Are you going to renovate the golf course?
Yeah, we're going to make it a beautiful world-class U.S. Open caliber course, and ideally we're going to have major tournaments there and everything else. It's going to bring a lot of business into Washington. By the way, the crime stats just came out on Washington, D.C. There is virtually no crime. It's gone from tremendous crime, murder, and everything else. There's virtually no crime in Washington, D.C. Thank you, President Trump. Thank you very much, everybody.
Any announcement on a Fed pick this week?
Listening in there to some of the comments that President Trump had to say to several reporters that were with him aboard Air Force One as he was heading.
No, not that I didn't see anybody get bumped. The agents were moving toward the vehicle. They were gesturing at the driver. They were yelling at her. They were agitated, but they were not in danger of being injured or hurt by the vehicle at all.
And I know after this, when you saw her head lolled back and, you had that horrific, unfortunately, vantage point. saw the other woman covered in blood, who you say was then trying to provide aid to the driver, to the victim. She's
Right.
identified herself as the victim's wife. What can you share about her and your interaction with her?
So immediately after the collision, I saw a woman run across the street who had been over on the west side of Portland Avenue. She ran across the street, ran to the car, ran to the driver's side door, flung the door open. She moved her body into the car, trying to provide aid to the driver. She was extremely distressed. She was yelling, "Somebody get help, call 911. Why is nobody helping?" And at that moment, I was standing just 5 or 6 feet away. And so I pulled my phone out of my pocket and attempted to dial 911. I was not able to get through. And at that moment, I did have my phone in my hand, and it occurred to me to try to take some video. But as I looked up, federal agents were beginning to approach the scene of the collision, and they were holding firearms and forcefully commanding bystanders to move away from the scene, which was very scary and intimidating given everything that had just happened. And so I felt really scared, and I moved away from the doorway of the building I was standing in front of and into the yard on the side of the building. And that's when I began to take a little bit of video of the scene, in which you can see, agents moving toward the vehicle and the collision.
Yes, we can. All right. Well, Betsy, thank you very much for choosing to speak, and the perspective that you had where you were standing is so crucial, as it's so important to get the facts out here. So thank you for choosing to do that. And again, I know understandable hesitation. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, our panel is here, and also joining us is the former Minneapolis Police Chief, Madera Arradondo. He was chief of police when George Floyd was killed and during the widespread protests that followed. So we're very happy to have you with us as well, Chief. Joy, can we just start with what Betsy just said? I mean, she obviously it was incredible to be able to come on and speak like that when something like that happens in front of you. Her perspective on this is crucial because she was standing where she could see the whole thing from the front of the car. And she's saying she didn't see at all what is described, what Vice President Vance said. It's very clear that her vehicle went right for the guy today. That's not what Betsy's describing at all. She was 4 feet away.
Yeah. So the first thing is generally there's an investigation and then there's a judgment. What we have now are federal officials who apparently took charge of the investigation, imposing the judgment and then saying they're going to do.
It's a domestic terror incident.
Correct.
This is what happened, and
Right.
that's it.
Usually you would interview witnesses, you'd look at tape, you do a variety of things, and then you would draw conclusions. It seems like it's the other way around. It also seems as though state officials are being cut out of the investigation. Why is this critical? We talk about public confidence and public trust. It's the pillar of our system. We now have a government that's saying there's nothing to see here. The FBI is taking control, and the people on the top have already deemed what the conclusion should be. The state has an interest here, and that state interest is to investigate. I'll also say this, and briefly. The bottom line is that there's been claims about an absolute immunity here, and J.D. Vance has given the indication that there's absolute immunity.
Yeah.
I could tell you unequivocally that that is not true, and that is not the status of the law. If it were the status of the law, federal officials will go out and kill people and say, hey, why even investigate? Because we can do whatever we want. In fact, the Supreme Court addressed this very issue last year. Martin versus the United States, and said that that is not the case. Now, I will tell you there's some kind of qualified immunity if you're acting in a way that's necessary and proper. However, the law is very clear that in the event that you violate federal rules, in the event that you violate state statutes, you can be prosecuted. And so we'll see whether the state does its due diligence and investigates anyway, notwithstanding the Fed saying we're taking over, and whether they decide to prosecute.
All right, as this is happening, and you just saw Ryan and Omar in Minneapolis and crowds gathering, John, we have this story out of Portland. And I shared the breaking news that there have been 2 people shot in an officer-involved, law enforcement-involved shooting that we understand included Customs and Border Protection officers in Portland. This is just breaking right now. You have gotten some more information on that, I believe you can share with us. What have you learned?
So we'll start off with, this is all preliminary because our collective experience with these things, we learn again and again that the first story usually changes.
Yep.
But here's what we have right now from sources who have been briefed on the preliminary information, which is this was Customs and Border Protection agents. You may find that there were other agents from ERO or another DHS entity there, because they do mix in these arrest teams, who were attempting to make a car stop to effect an arrest in an immigration matter. Don't have the details on that. There were shots fired during that car stop. There is a husband and wife, we are told, in the car. Husband shot in the arm, we're informed. Wife shot in the chest. Condition unknown. You pointed out earlier that there was some confusion because there are two locations that we're getting from the
Yes,
Portland
Priscilla
police,
mentioned that. Yes.
where there was one location where they had shots fired and another location where they had to respond. It appears from that they tried to initiate this car stop at one place. The car may have taken off and moved.
So there may
We-
have been a chase. I don't want to, put more, but it may have been that sort of a situation.
It appears that this moved from one place to another, which indicates the car may have taken off. We don't know yet. And we also don't know whether the shots fired happened at the beginning of that encounter or at the end of that encounter a couple of blocks away. So
Okay.
still very fresh, still very much developing.
All right. And crucial, like you say, to not know whether they happened at the beginning or the end. We just don't know. We don't know much. But you're pointing out, Priscilla said they're both in the hospital, wounded. And you're reporting there were a husband and a wife, that he was shot in the arm, she was shot in the chest. Chief Arradondo, I just want to give you a chance to respond to what we're hearing here out of Portland. I mean, obviously, it's incredibly disturbing. What we have here is preliminary, but incredibly disturbing in this moment.
Yeah, Aaron, I think that, as we were looking here in the state of Minnesota with this this surge capacity of at least 2,000 ICE agents, after yesterday's ICE agent officer involved shooting with the death of Miss Good, you're concerned with that many agents. My friend John Miller mentioned that right now the Minneapolis Police Department's complement is about 600 officers. You've got way more ICE officers occupying the city of Minneapolis and other parts of Minnesota. The probability of something bad happening, you're concerned about that. Now hearing what John has just talked about, at least the preliminary information in Portland, that it obviously, at least with the information that it was an ICE-related immigration, possibly related incident, these are things that can get tense. I was out last night with CNN's Laura Coates and Oscar Jimenez last night at the vigil. Even at that moment in Minneapolis, I mean, you can feel the tension that's out there. And so, all of these things can play into it. And so we're just hoping that, that we can, if ICE is going to continue to be doing their operations, across the country, we just want to make sure that people are safe, that officers are safe. And so we'll continue to get more information, obviously, about what occurred in Portland, but still monitoring the situation here in Minneapolis.
Yeah, I mean, and we're keeping images of that as well as crowds are gathering in Minneapolis. And Joey, these are very preliminary details. We don't know. We know it was an immigration-related stop, at least from the preliminary information that John shared. We don't know if the car was fleeing, if they were shot first before fleeing or afterwards when they thought they were fleeing. We don't know. These are really important things to know. But in the moment that we're in, with all of the heightened pressure, it is, as horrible as it is to say, not a shock probably to people, although very upsetting to hear something like this happening right now.
It's got to be, but the bottom line is there has to be standards that govern conduct. And the one standard that's very important is that you don't shoot into a vehicle that's moving, with rare exceptions. You're not permitted to go after a fleeing felon or go after them, but shooting them is not proper for a variety of reasons. And one of which is we saw the car careening after that fact because it represents a danger to people on the street. The other issue, very quickly, Aaron, is that you look to the immediacy of the danger, and is there an immediate fear of death or serious bodily injury? You look to the proportionality of the response. Do you need to shoot? Can you get out of the way? And in fact, the guidance from the DOJ says, get out of the way of the car, don't shoot into it. And then the last analysis is, are you acting reasonably? And if you're not doing these things, it presents concerns for prosecution and certainly public trust with regard to law enforcement at all levels.
And ICE has been using, as we know, for several months now, car stops as a method to enforce immigration. They have been, and we have seen that around the country. On the phone now is Congresswoman Janelle Bynum, whose district includes part of Portland. Congresswoman, I appreciate you taking the time. This is very preliminary information that we're getting here, and I'm just obviously, so let's just start here with what you have learned. What do you know about the Customs and Border Patrol shooting in Portland right now?
Well, we know that their presence is not welcome in the way that they're attempting to do law enforcement. We don't believe that it's law enforcement. We believe it is state-sponsored terrorism. And so we've made several calls over and over and over again for the president to stop sending goons to Portland and to leave us alone.
Okay, but do you know anything about the shooting itself, about the people shot or anything? Have officials shared any of that information with you?
Yes, my staff has shared with me that there was an interaction. There were two people involved. There was a gunshot, at least one gunshot fired. The people from the original site of the firing drove to another site and are being treated at a local hospital. We recently learned that there was a report of a gunshot wound to the chest. Have not confirmed that, and of course more information is forthcoming. We also know that there has been a heightened sense of concern because we've gotten reports that ICE or Border Patrol has been impersonating or appearing to impersonate utility workers. And so we just received notification on that as well. So there's a heightened sense in the community that these people are out there, that they're goonish, and they're willing to stop at nothing to terrorize people.
Congresswoman, that's a lot of new information that you just shared. What you're talking about, that they heard one gunshot. I know, obviously, we don't know whether there were more or not, but you're talking about one. We know of possibly injuries to both people, or two in the hospital from John Miller. Maybe one gunshot affected both. We just don't know. But I want to just clarify one thing. It sounds like what you're saying, to make sure I heard you correctly, that you were saying that the gunshot incident itself happened at the first location, and then they proceeded to the second location after the gunshot. Did I hear you correctly?
That is what I understand. There was a parking lot involved in the first, and then there was an apartment building involved in a secondary location. How the hospital plays into that third location, I'm not exactly sure, but that is what I understand.
Well, Congresswoman, I appreciate it very much. One other final question. You may not know the answer, but I'll ask you in case. Do you know the relationship between the two shot? I mean, were they husband and wife? Were they U.S. citizens? Do you know any of that information, or at this point, is that unknown?
No, that's unknown to us. What I want to make sure that everybody understands is that they are unwelcome in Portland, and we need these things gone. They should get the step in.
All right, well, I appreciate your time, Congresswoman. Thank you very much for coming on and being willing to share what you do know at this time. Thank you. We are continuing to follow. I'm sorry, the breaking news in Minneapolis. You see the images on your screen just moments ago. Large crowds growing, protests growing after a woman was fatally shot by an ICE officer. And we also have the breaking details out of Portland. Customs and Border Protection agents shot a husband and wife during a car stop. Our John Miller is reporting that this was a special operations unit of Customs and Border Protection, and that they say they were going after a suspected gang member. We have new information coming on that sort of moment by moment, and we are monitoring it. I want to bring in Republican Congressman Don Bacon. And Congressman, I'm grateful for your time tonight.
Thank you.
How concerned are you? You know, we're looking at the protests in Minneapolis. You have this developing story out of Portland. You've now got protests in Cincinnati, protests in Boston. How concerned are you about this moment?
Well, I'm concerned. I hate to see anybody get shot, even if they're not doing the right things. I hate to see people killed like the lady was yesterday. I hope the couple recovers fast, that were shot today. I know our law enforcement, they have a tough job, and there's a lot of debate about what the policy should be with people who've been here illegally for a while. I know most Americans want the violent people, arrested or sent back to their home country. There's a lot of debate internally, though. What do you do with those who are been here for a while and they're working and otherwise good neighbors? And I think many Americans think we've gone too far. But that's not the ICE's problem or Border Patrol. They're doing what the president and their team are ordering. But there is a policy debate. I think it's a necessary debate that we should have.
And I think that's obviously sane and reasonable and thoughtful. But nonetheless, we have tensions rising. And you have, in the case of Minneapolis, an immediate rush to judge and to blame. Vice President Vance specifically said that the victim's a deranged leftist who tried to run the ICE agent over. That's what he said today, Congressman Bacon. Now, obviously, that we have heard similar things out of other officials, whether it be the president or the Secretary of Homeland Security. Look, we all have seen the videos. I mean, Emily Heller, an eyewitness yesterday, she was steps away. Her version is very different. A woman I just spoke to a moment ago, she was on the front looking head on it. Her version's very different. She was 4 feet away. Look, what do you make of the different versions here? And I guess let me just put the question to you very bluntly. Do you think it's okay that Trump and his team are rushing to judgment and say what's happening when there's been no investigation?
I've been a commander 5 times in the Air Force. Your inclination is to try to support law enforcement. I've had to deal with that as a commander of 2 different bases. However, in the end, you got to get the facts, and we need to do the right investigation. And to your point, I was at a dinner last night with a bunch of people from the House of Representatives and senators, and one party saw what happened in Minneapolis clearly as the lady was doing nothing wrong, and then you got the other half of the party was clearly she was wrong. So it's interesting, 2 sets of people see the same videos and disagree. And one of the things that sticks out at me, I've seen different vantage points of this video. One vantage point, it looks like the cop was going to get hit, but the other 2, it does not look like it. So I think it's better to just let the authorities investigate and get both sides of this, and let's see what the results are. But I think the different videos show different things depending on the angle that you're at.
But I guess just to state the obvious, then you're supportive of a full and fulsome investigation into what happened.
I think that in all these situations, yes, we should have a fulsome investigation. I saw the video where the cop, I looked like he was going to get hit, but let's let neutral, good people look at this and come up with a report, and we ought to do it right. And in any shooting involving law enforcement, there should be an investigation to make sure that everything was done right. And we want to ensure that we're doing this right, and we also want to be fair to the cop.
Yeah. Well, I think everyone should want the truth. Of course, the problem is there is so very, very little trust right now in this country. Congressman Bacon, I appreciate your time, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. 2 related and breaking stories tonight. Demonstrations in Minneapolis and new video in the fatal shooting of a 37-year-old mom killed in her car by an ICE officer. Just moments ago, we learned of another shooting in Portland, Oregon. 2 people wounded by federal border agents. CNN's Priscilla Alvarez joins us now with the latest on that. So what more do we know?
Anderson, we just received a statement from the Department of Homeland Security over this incident that occurred in Portland, and they describe a little bit about what unfolded here. So let me read some of this statement to you. They say that at 2:19 Pacific time, U.S. Border Patrol agents were conducting a targeted vehicle stop in Portland. Passenger in the vehicle. The statement goes on to say that when agents identified themselves to the vehicle occupants, the driver weaponized his vehicle and attempted to run over the law enforcement agents. I'm quoting here. Goes on to say that fearing for his life and safety, an agent fired a defensive shot and the driver drove off with the passenger fleeing the scene. Now, Anderson, I will tell you that prior to the statement, law enforcement sources had told CNN that it was a husband and wife that were in the vehicle. The husband was shot in the arm, the wife in the chest, and that the 2 were shot at one location and then drove away. They are now hospitalized according to the Portland Police Bureau. But of course, as you mentioned there at the top, all of this comes against the backdrop of what unfolded in Minneapolis this week and what is the situation that is currently happening there. Now, the police chief referenced the situation in Minneapolis, as did the mayor, who used this to call for an end to the immigration crackdown. Now, of course, it is still early stages of what happened here. We're still working to collect information. The Department of Homeland Security is calling this an evolving situation, and they said that, quote, more information is forthcoming.
All right, Priscilla Alvarez, thanks very much. Now to Minneapolis. And as we said, new video tonight. This is some of it. It is grainy, difficult to see. It could provide, certainly provides another angle on what happened before a 37-year-old Minneapolis mom was shot and killed by an ICE officer shortly after dropping her 6-year-old off at school. Now, it comes on what has been a tense day there, with more federal agents surging into the city. Minnesota's governor putting the state National Guard on standby to support local law enforcement if necessary. This is the live images of a protest, a demonstration, a gathering in the streets there. This is what it looks like right now, downtown Minneapolis. Demonstrators have also gathered at the shooting scene, which itself is just blocks away from where police killed George Floyd 5.5 years ago. Now, earlier today, armed agents at a federal building near the airport pushed back protesters, deploying some kind of crowd repellent gas and making at least one arrest after someone, according to CNN's Omar Jimenez, apparently threw a water bottle. Throughout the day, the Trump administration has first doubled and then tripled down on its claim that the shooting was the result of an act of domestic terrorism, and that the killing of Renee Good was, in the words of Vice President Vance today, a, quote, tragedy of her own making. He said that with certainty, and said this as if it was an established fact.
The Department of Homeland Security is already investigating this, but the simple fact is what you see is what you get in this case. You have a woman who was trying to obstruct a legitimate law enforcement operation. Nobody debates that. You have a woman who aimed her car at a law enforcement officer and pressed on the accelerator. Nobody debates that.
Well, keeping them honest, people are debating that. Just to remind you, here it is, slowed down. This is from one of the camera angles that we have. You see one officer walk over to the car. He told her to get the F out of the vehicle, put his hand into the window. The car, she backs up. The car's reverse lights go on. The officer pulls on the door handle with his right hand, eventually reaching inside the open window with his left. The other officer is now in front of her car, and her reverse lights go out. When the car begins to move forward, the officer unholsters his weapon. He fires it once. It appears towards her windshield. Second time, what appears to be her open window, and then a third shot immediately afterwards. And the car goes careening down the street. The officer reholsters his weapon. Now, take a look at it again. This shooting in real time from two different angles, which we've synced side by side. As I mentioned, CNN has obtained some new video. Again, it's grainy and distant, but it shows 4 full minutes leading up to the shooting. It shows Renee Good's maroon Honda Pilot entering from the right there. Then 20 seconds later, someone gets out on the passenger side. We don't know who or why this person leaves the car. We then see her turn and pull perpendicular across the street, seeming to block the way. But as you see here, leaving room for vehicles to pass by her on either side. Finally, there is this new angle of the federal officer who shot her. He arrives, another federal SUV pulls up. As the ICE officer briefly goes back to his car, then he returns with another agent grabbing at her door. She starts to move forward. Again, it's hard to see from this angle, followed by 3 gunshots in quick succession. 4 minutes in all from start to finish. But for all the video that may reveal, it says nothing about why Renee Good was where she was or what she was doing there. And it's not all we don't know. Somehow, the administration, without offering any evidence, seems terribly certain about who this woman is and what motivated her.
What young mother shows up and decides they're going to throw their car in front of ICE officers who are enforcing legitimate law? You've got to be a little brainwashed to get to that point to where you're willing not just to protest, that's fine, not peacefully protest, but throw your vehicle in front of legitimate law enforcement officers and drive your car into them. To get to that point, You have to be, I think, radicalized in a very, very sad way.
Well, the vice president also called her, quote, a deranged leftist and a member of a, quote, broader left-wing network. Though when pressed for evidence, here's what he said.
Who do you think is behind this broader left-wing network?
Well, it's one of the things we're going to have to figure out.
So he's not the only one who did not have an answer when pressed. So did the president. Reporters from the New York Times interviewed him yesterday and showed him or talked to him, confronted him on the disparity between what the shooting video showed and what the administration was claiming about the incident, including that the ICE officer had been run over. The headline at the Times reads, "Here's what Trump said on the ICE shooting when we pressed him." The reporters told the president the tapes were unclear. His aide brought a laptop over to the Resolute desk to play one of them. It did not say what he said it did, that the ICE officer had been run over. And when confronted about it, the president did not address the discrepancy. He's also not changed his version of the events. His top officials are echoing that approach, something Minnesota Governor Tim Walz underscored today.
It's beyond me that apparently from the federal government, from the Homeland Security Director herself, has already determined who this person was, what their motive was, and they hadn't even been taken out of the vehicle. We're not living in a normal world.
Joining me now is video forensic expert Frank Piazza. He's previously been called upon as an expert witness in high-profile trials in the Southern District of New York, including the recent trial of Sean Combs. Also joining us, former Secret Service agent Jonathan Wackrow, former federal prosecutor for the Southern District of New York, Ellie Honig, former NYPD Deputy Commissioner of Intelligence and Counterterrorism, John Miller. Frank, I want to start with you because I know you've done your own analysis of two of the videos, starting with one that's filmed from further away, but seems to show contact between the car and the officer. According to your analysis, because there were questions last night of, were any shots fired before the officer made contact or once the officer had made contact with the vehicle? I just want to play you've enhanced a version of the video, which you slowed down, and I want to ask you about it afterwards. So let's look at this. So from your experience, what does that show? What does that slowed down version tell you?
Well, the slowed down version is showing me that when the SUV pulls forward, they make contact with the agent in the street, and then immediately following that contact, you hear 3 gunshots follow.
So according to you, you do not hear a shot before contact.
I do not in this particular video. Absolutely not.
And yeah, let's just listen to this again.
It's kind of devastating, isn't it?
And just from how accurate can you be? It's grainy video. In a courtroom, I assume
the expert said she hit him.
These sorts of questions.
And then he shot her.
This camera angle is from far away. How accurate? What certainty do you have?
Well, I'm working again with this version of the video, which was taken down from social media. So we know when we work with social media files, there can be some errors or some syncing issues with audio and video, but in this particular video seems fine, and there's enough error even if there was an issue with it. But just doing the frame by frame of watching the video, and then you are synced with the audio that is actually taking place, you can see clearly that the audio happens after the actual contact.
And on the other video, I know you enhance the audio and say that you can hear the driver of the SUV, Renee Good, say to the approaching agents at one point, "Go around." So I want to play your enhanced version of that video. And before we do, I just want to let viewers know you can hear profanity from people on the ground. You did not bleep any of that out in the version of the video. So let's just play your enhanced version, and then we'll talk about it. So what do you hear in that?
So I just want to start off with the visual first. I see the woman in the SUV waving her arm as if she's waving cars to go past her. And then
And a
when
car
the
does go past
next-
her, correct?
Yes, right. There it goes right there. And then the second truck pulls up, and prior to the agent saying, you know, get the F out of the car, you can hear her say the words go around. I don't know what the full phrasing is. It could be, you know, please go around, or you can just go around. It's hard sometimes, you know, certain words can get buried in the environment that's in the background. But I do hear go around. And again, I'm not here to say that it makes sense because she's waving her arms, but it seems to be that she's conducting, you know, come around my car here. I don't know if she's saying let me go around or let them go around.
How do you know that go around is from her and not one of the other, you know, pedestrians who are, you know, filming this, or, you know, you hear later people yelling in the background?
Yeah, that's a great question. It is very difficult because there seem to be a lot of people in the area, although we don't see, you know, as many that might be there. But you can, her again, with her arm and her waving the car around, it does disappear when she says go around, but at that moment it comes back, and you can see she's in the middle of her, of what she's saying to the officer. It appears to me. I'm sure more analysis can either confirm that or not.
I want to bring in our other guest, John Miller. What stands out to you about, you know, the new video we've seen as you've looked at the older videos we have as well?
Well, it tells us some things. It raises some questions. So she's in that spot for between 3 and 4 minutes. It appears the person who gets out of the car is her wife, who is also the person who we hear yelling in the background of the video, who is also the person after the shooting is seen running towards where the car crashed. But this video shows us that second vehicle, now that's a law enforcement vehicle that backs in next to her, blocking the street almost at the same angle. So what it suggests, and we don't know this, but what it suggests is if she has been one of the cars following agents from location to location, is her position there to block them or to be in the position to follow their caravan to the next location? And if that's the case, has that car been placed there to block her from following them again? Officials said today that she had been following them throughout the day. We understand she dropped her kids at school around 8 o'clock. The shooting happens at 10:37. That's not much of the day, but they say she'd been following them throughout the day. When pressed for details on, well, where had they encountered her and what had she done at those places, they said, you know, that's part of the investigation, and, you know, we can't tell you yet. You know, you'll learn that later. So we still have a lot of gaps and a lot of things that we're just surmising through looking at new video.
And Jonathan Wackrow, I mean, yesterday you had talked about you as a Secret Service agent had been in a similar position. You chose not to fire in an incident in New York, not related to this. And you also raised questions about the angle which the officer was firing, essentially firing toward the other officers. And also, John Miller, you'd have mentioned, you know, DHS policy, which is not to fire into vehicles. Jonathan, today, 24 hours later, what stands out to you?
Well, what
questions remain for you?
Well, you know, what stands out to me is just the moment that we're in, Anderson. And what we're seeing, and we're witnessing this real time, is this structural gap that is emerging between public safety and how they're being operationalized. And what I mean by that is, in essence, law enforcement works best when federal, state, and local entities work in parallel and in coordination with each other. And let's take yesterday's event as an example. Two things could happen at the same time. You can have law enforcement protecting the public's right to free expression under the First Amendment and protect law enforcement activity unencumbered by protesters. But the way that you're going to get there, Anderson, is by that coordination between federal, state, and local entities working in unison in these, you know, very dynamic situations. Those operational planning the safety concerns, the officer safety concerns, the public safety concerns, all of that could be worked out in advance. But what we're seeing is this disengagement of municipalities from federal law enforcement.
And not just here in Minneapolis, but
across the
elsewhere as well.
country. And I think that, that is leaving, the politicians are going to be fine. What's not fine is the public, and they're the ones that have to suffer the
There's
consequences.
a lot on the legal aspect to talk about. I want to talk to Ellie about that in a moment. We're going to take a quick break. I want to thank Frank Piazza for joining us as well.
Out front next, breaking news. CNN just learning the FBI is investigating a shooting in Portland, Oregon, involving Border Patrol agents. This just breaking this time as protesters are gathering in Minneapolis in multiple locations. Tensions are high, and federal agents and protesters coming face to face. We're
They did all of this for one fucking individual. All this for one individual. And he's not an immigrant, right? Yeah, he's not. He had no charges. Like, why are they? Of course not. Of course not. I'm immigration. I have no judge. Don't worry. No judge. There's a piece of paper that they're pulling off as a tab in their car. Yeah, because you can tell from right over here. I don't even think it's a war. Yeah, it's not. Remember not to sign any papers without having a lawyer. From the district court. From the Department of If they give you any new papers, do not sign without a lawyer. Know your rights. Laminate them. Yes. Call the lawyer present. They went through the back too. They went through the back too. They were all back there.
Does anybody here know that family?
Does anybody know anybody that would fix the door? Because they're going to need their door fixed. It's cold. Yeah.
Let me.
Ma'am, can you give these to them, please?
I can help. I put on several doors. Hold on, let me look at the fucking hinges.
I can help pay.
Call Nebby.
Because we know you don't actually have hobbies, so you close your life during sex! Except you don't have a wife. She left you, and you didn't get the kids in the divorce. This is probably why. His AI wife, right? You probably have an AI wife built on an LLM to tell you that you're awesome. Hey, loser! At least you're doing work. You guys are shit employees. I pay for your money and your taxes and everything. I mean, not taxes, but for your health care. All you do is sit around all day.
Fuck you, Nazis!
Fuck you, Nazis!
Fuck you, Nazis! Nazi scum. Don't keep lying saying I need a permit to go over there. That's a bullshit. I'm not going to parking lot. I'm not a permit. Let me in. Let us in. You also probably haven't even taken pepper spray, and hearing from all of the people that have been arrested, you can't even be near them when they've been pepper sprayed. You're fucking pathetic. You'll spray people and then leave them alone for 5 hours because you can't handle being near the pepper spray. And we're here unarmed every fucking day talking shit. They pepper spray local law enforcement too. For some reason, think they're more special. They actually, local police actually, it's too bad. It's too bad half of the ICE agents failed their test with an open book with notes. With no, doesn't understand physics. That's pretty clear based on what we've seen with remote control. Call big, big, shoot, keep moving. You stand in front, ouchie. You know, I did see that one of you were holding the pepper gun at somebody and they were still yelling, so you decided to take out your actual firearm? That's fucking ridiculous. You can't just point firearms at unarmed civilians who are doing their First Amendment fucking rights. You will pay for your crimes. And guess who's going to be on the jury? We're so annoyed, we're fighting here. We keep our families together, we keep our communities together. And the only reason you're doing this shit is because you have no one. You have no one left. And the reason you have no one left is because you're like this.
Trump!
All right, who's up next on karaoke? Thank you guys for coming to my concert. I was asking you guys if you had recommendations or suggestions last night. They are fucking boring. They will not talk back to you. Sucks. You think they want to humanize themselves a little bit.
Do we get to shoot them if they run us?
Good point. It's a good point.
Didn't think so. That's right, Mom. Go back home to Alabama and keep talking to your sister. Because you're 1 inch thick. Yeah.
Micro penis. Their sister's probably really happy they're on vacation right now. Getting some peace. Can we stand over there too? Why can't we live here?
Micro penis. Micro penis. Micro penis.
This would be nice to give to one of you guys, the Constitution. I don't know if the words are too fucking hard for you guys to read before you said you swore an oath or whatever. Yeah, you guys skimmed it. You didn't even read the clip notes though. What the fuck?
I'll be here for the next one. Yeah, now you're prepared. We can start anytime you want.
If anyone wants to use this megaphone, I also have megaphone. Guys, I brought coffee. None for you. Don't think about it. No coffee for you guys. He's just being an ugly bitch.
Get
Ugly. Ugh.
wow.
It's reassuring to know they have a bunch of tubbies that can't chase people. That's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's kind of.
That's why they're shooting people and shit, because they don't want to have to run after them. This is the most steps they've done their whole life, I'm sure.
Run.
Yes, the gravy seals. I got coffee, guys, okay? Only for us, though. We're not sharing with you. I pay you enough fucking money to do a shit job. You're all fired. I'm your boss and you fucking taking your job. You know what? You went parking lot. I stand at my bus stop. I didn't take public taxi. Go get it.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone.
To demonstrate how peaceful we are. So if anyone wants to play Tapple, I got cribbage. I also have a frisbee. Someone got arrested last night for throwing a snowball, I think. Yeah.
Oh, well.
Embarrassing. You don't have any little joys in life in the state of snowball.
Here comes another one.
Another one that's not going to stop. Yep.
Stop sign.
Stop sign. 191 KTJ.
Why did we go up to the building when Christy T-Mouse Hall is there? Oh my God, he's wearing sweatpants and swing his little feet.
Get the fuck out of our state!
Oh,
Fuck you!
angry.
Fuck you! Oh, what is it? Okay, we're taking your place, Nazi motherfucker!
Small town beta over here. Preach! The power of Christ compel you, little demons!
Hey, stop, asshole! Fucking highway it! Who hates Iowa? We hate Iowa!
I am so sick of these welfare babies from welfare states complaining about people being on welfare. When we fucking fund your guys' shitty education system, tell them about taxes because you guys are paying education system. That's not my fault. My people.
Oh, you're fucking screwing up people! You're fucking screwing up people! You fucking
Show your face if you're not ashamed to be here! If you're not ashamed, then show your goddamn face! Show your faces! Pussy ass micro penis asshole! Nazi piece of shit!
Oh, here we go!
Why not?
Get off the
I don't
road!
understand.
You fucking fucking stop sign, you fucker! Fuck you! Get out of the road! You fucking got the sign! You fucking talking here! Run somebody over! Get the fuck out of here! Get the fuck out of Minnesota! Get the fuck out, the fuckers! Fuck you fucking fascist pussies!
I'm not gonna take you guys to come up with that little.
You wanna fucking tackle women? You fucking oh, you fuckers!
Fucking pointed gun! Out the car driving away with you!
Fuck you, bitches!
You guys are being fucking intimidating!
Get the fuck out of Minnesota! Get the fuck out of Minnesota!
Why do you even want to interact with it? You're so fucking miserable! You just purposely you want to start some shit. We're not falling for it, you fucking loser! Go see your little dick in your fucking sweatpants somewhere!
You ass bitches! Yeah, you ass fucking bitches!
How was the clan meeting today, guys? It's like a little AA meeting. What do you guys do? Is it good? Thumbs up. Quick lunch? Bagels? An affirmatory honk. I like that. At least be honest. Own that shit. You guys stand for nothing. You can stand for your racism and bigotry. Because you sure as hell doing that for 50K. Okay, that's all I gotta say. No, it isn't. I think they get confused. Servant and service is confusing. A public servant does service for the community. They're confused.
Get the fuck out of here!
You guys have to also look each other's boots to shine them when it goes in a circle.
You have no shame. You have no morality. What the fuck is wrong with you? Why are you fucked up in the head? Why are you so mentally ill? Because he's a racist. What is it? Are you good as a kid? Because you are.
Go get therapy! How far do you have to be to stay here trying to fucking cause a rise out of people? Go home to your kids and you find you around!
Continue to terrorize! Shame on you!
We never talk to cops, especially not fascist Nazi regime ones like them. Fuck the police. Oh, that's one of the amendments you guys probably don't know about. Right to representation and then a fair trial. I think you guys skipped that one when we didn't read the Constitution.
Fuck out of Minnesota!
Unless it's them, then somebody reads it to them and tells them their rights. But we have to fight for their rights, not for them. And pay their fucking health care, education, and salaries, and they do such a shit job.
Bitch. Fucking bastard. Are you not gonna let them in? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking serious? They have medication for someone in that fucking building. Are you serious?
You guys want to add to the numbers? More deaths? Is it like a video game postcard or something? They're all freaks. Is this the only thing that gets your dick up is hurting people? Dick? So a pedophile nonetheless. Is he not sharing the kids with you guys? Fucking weirdos.
So I've got, oh, back up. Oh, yeah, sorry. This is really loud. That's all. Okay, so there's a woman in here who's a refugee. She was, went through the whole years-long process. She's got a kid who came here as a refugee. I was contacted by her immigration worker at one of the refugee resettlement agencies. I got her papers here. So I went up to here and talked to the ICE guy who came out, and I showed him the papers, and he said, "Oh, we've already got all those." So they know that they have a refugee woman in there who's been abducted unlawfully. Refugees have legal status in the U.S. there's no question that she is here legally, and so they know that. They've arrested a woman that they know is here lawfully, and they've detained her, and now they're threatening to send her to Texas. So we're in contact with CARE Minnesota. And they have lawyers, so hopefully we can get her out before she's transferred to Texas. I mean, her kid's without her right now.
This is gonna be the last time you guys can
But if
listen to
not,
rap music.
then we'll just try to get her out of Texas before she's deported. So ICE knows what they're doing. They know that they're arresting lawful citizens or lawful residents. So, what was my name? Yeah, Timothy. I'm an assistant pastor in North Minneapolis. I used to, my full name, Timothy Paulson, TIMOTHYPAULSON. I used to be an immigration worker at Arrive Ministries, so but yeah, I'm just a volunteer now. Thank you.
It's not scary to put, like, film us expressing our rights, fighting for your rights. Thank you cards later. Is that why you're doing it? You're welcome in advance. I don't need to be paid off to do it for you, though.
Fuck you! Fuck you, fuckers! Fuck you! Motherfucker! Are you ice? You want a boss?
We got coffee, guys.
This is America. Don't got you slipping up. Look how I'm living up. Police be tripping up. Yeah, this is America. Guns in my area.
Closer. I'll bring you closer so you guys can get some culture in you. Hey, dog, can you hear it now?
I'm so cold like that. I'm so dull like that. We gon' blow like that.
Gators. Call it a fish tank. We got gators all up in this bitch.
Fuck you!
Look what I'm ripping up. Look how I'm cooking up. I'm so pretty.
It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done.